how does the left get it precisely backward? The rot runs very deep. It runs all the way down to the core of leftist ideology itself, which is a preference for fantasy over reality. John F. Kennedy summed this up in one of the most famous lines of his presidency. It's a line that has been repeated by countless leftists since. Kennedy said, and he was quoting the socialist playwright George Bernard Shaw, he said, "Some people see things that are and say, why? I dream things that never were and say, why not?" This is supposed to be an inspiring line. And he acknowledges that the line comes from the socialist playwright George Bernard Shaw. He doesn't mention which play. The play is Back to Methuselah. That scene is the serpent in the Garden of Eden tempting Eve. Those are the words of the devil, this preference for fantasy over reality. It's amazing that they skip over that part. You'd think it's like an important detail. They don't do the reading on the left, so they just see the line from a quotation website or something. They don't realize the context. The embrace of fantasy is the temptation at the heart of leftism, which is a utopian ideology. Leftism believes in the perfectibility of human nature. Leftism believes in progress with a capital P, right there in the name, progressivism. According to progressivism, we are moving right along toward utopia, the perfect society, and the only people holding us back are those knuckle-dragging conservatives like all of us. They are impeding our perfect future. Every leftist ideology at its core has sought out this utopia, from the communist revolutions a century ago to the socialist states that we see around the world today. Ironically, the nearer the left has ever gotten toward its vision of paradise, the more closely their societies have resembled hell on earth. Because utopia is fantasy. Most people think that the word utopia means the best place. This is how it's taught in school. It doesn't. It literally means no place. U means no, topos means place. No place. This battle between fantasy and reality is being waged in our speech, which is why the left is so keen to control exactly what you say. Just last week, Colorado State University, I don't know if anybody here is from Colorado State, they published an inclusive language guide that banned, just by my own count, 131 words and phrases. The words included he, she, him, her, Mr., Mrs., and Ms., which I thought was woke, but it's not woke anymore. It banned the phrase hip, hip, hooray, because it says the phrase has Nazi origins. If you say hip, hip, hooray, you're now a Nazi, according to Colorado State. They even banned the word homosexual, which until 5 minutes ago was the politically correct term, in favor of the word queer, which 2 weeks ago almost got Steven Crowder kicked off of YouTube. The word queer, which we were told is like the N-word. Now that's the one that's in. Homosexual, which was PC, is now out. Very difficult to keep up. Here you see the end game of all of these speech codes. It is not about protecting any oppressed victim group. The left abandons their pet victim groups the moment that they cease to be politically useful. We're watching them abandon women right now in favor of men who wear dresses in real time. And this isn't about making our society any more civil either. You will never find a more scolding, vindictive person than a campus social justice warrior. Not very civil. One of them busted in a mask and sprayed my nice suit with a bunch of weird, glittery chemicals. Not very civil. They call all of their opponents Hitler. Have you noticed that? Everyone slightly to the right of them is Hitler. The end game of these speech codes is not even to get people to use particular words, because the words change every 2 seconds. What's woke 1 minute is politically incorrect and vicious and evil and bigoted the next. The purpose of these speech codes is to make people shut up altogether. It's to stop you from getting in the way of that inevitable march toward utopia. The purpose of the speech codes, the ever-expanding banned word lists, is to stop you from speaking, to make you check with the committee before every time you open your mouth. It reminds us of 1984. We mention 1984 in a lot of conservative speeches these days. I don't want it to be a cliche. The trouble is it's true. We're beginning to live in it. In 1984, Orwell wrote, "Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered. And the process is continuing day by day, minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right."